Isaiah's boots echoed on the slick Seattle sidewalk as he shoved the letter deeper into his coat, the words blurring in his mind like the city lights smearing through the downpour. 35 years old, a graphic designer scraping by in a cramped Capitol Hill apartment, and now this, a summons from a Portland attorney claiming Elias Washington, his father, declared dead by the family when Isaiah was 5, had left him something. An inheritance. From a man who'd vanished like smoke after one too many whispers about that lifestyle tore through the family Bible study in their Tacoma suburb. Isaiah's mother, Clara, had remarried a year later to a stern deacon named Harlan, who preached fire and brimstone from the pulpit of First Grace Baptist, his sermons laced with veiled warnings about sin that always seemed aimed at the empty chair at the dinner table. He ducked into a corner diner on Pike Street, the kind of place where the coffee was black as midnight and the booth smelled of grease and forgotten dreams. The waitress, a wiry woman with tattoos snaking up her arms, slid a mug his way without asking. "Rough day, hun," she said, her voice gravelly from years of smoke and sympathy. Isaiah nodded, unfolding the letter again under the harsh fluorescent glow. "You could say that." The paper trembled slightly in his hands, the attorney's words leaping out. Elias Washington passed peacefully last month in Astoria, Oregon. He wished for his son, Isaiah, to receive the contents of a safety deposit box. No other heirs named. Passed peacefully. As if the man hadn't been erased decades ago, his photos burned in the backyard fire pit while Aunt Lorraine recited psalms over the ashes. Isaiah's chest tightened, a familiar ache blooming there, the same one that had driven him to therapy sessions he couldn't afford, the one that made every grindery date fizzle into awkward silences when he tried to explain why he hated family holidays. He'd always known, in the way kids know things they shouldn't. The arguments behind closed doors, his father's laughter fading into sobs after Harlan moved in. Elias had been the one who taught him to skip stones on Puget Sound, his calloused hands gentle as he adjusted Isaiah's grip. "Life's about the ripples, son," he'd said once, eyes crinkling with a smile that lit up the grey afternoons. Then, one Sunday after church, Elias didn't come home. Clara's face had been a mask of composed grief when she knelt before Isaiah that night. "God's taken Daddy to heaven early. We have to pray for his soul now." The family nodded along, their declarations of death a communal exorcism, banishing the rumor that Elias had been seen at a bar in Seattle's Pioneer Square, arm around another man. Isaiah sipped the coffee, bitter and scalding, mirroring the resentment he'd nursed like a low-grade fever. He was gay too, had known it since high school, when stolen glances at the quarterback in the locker room twisted his gut with equal parts terror and thrill. Coming out to Clara had been a quiet conversation over chamomile tea in her kitchen, Harlan conveniently at a deacon's meeting. She'd hugged him, tears in her eyes, but whispered, "Just don't end up like your father, breaking hearts and hiding." It was the closest she'd ever come to acknowledging the lie, and Isaiah had let it hang there, a noose around unspoken truths. The diner door chimed, letting in a gust of damp air and a man who shook rain from his dark hair like a dog. Mid-40s, maybe, with a beard trimmed neat and a leather jacket slung over a flannel shirt, the kind of rugged seatlight who looked like he'd hiked the Olympics that morning. He caught Isaiah's eye for a beat too long, a flicker of recognition or curiosity, before sliding into a stool at the counter. Isaiah looked away, heat creeping up his neck. Not now. Not with this letter burning a hole in his resolve. By midnight, back in his apartment overlooking the bustling streets of Capitol Hill, Isaiah paced the worn hardwood floors, the city's hum a distant lullaby. Posters of indie films and abstract art cluttered the walls, remnants of a life pieced together from freelance gigs and fleeting connections. He pulled out his laptop, fingers flying over keys in a search that felt like digging up a grave. Elias Washington, Astoria, Oregon obituary. Nothing. Just generic notices for strangers with the same name. Frustration gnawed at him, but so did a spark, curiosity, maybe, or the masochistic pull of closure. He texted his best friend, Theo, a barista/poet with a laugh that could shatter ice. "Got a letter. Dad's actually dead this time. Left me something." Theo's reply buzzed back instantly, "Holy shit. You okay? Beers tomorrow?" Isaiah typed "yeah, need to process," then deleted it. What was there to process? A lifetime of half-truths, of wondering if Elias had ever thought of him while carving out a secret life. Had he found love? Peace? Or just more hiding? Sleep came fitfully, dreams laced with rain-swept beaches and a man's silhouette fading into fog. Morning broke grey and relentless, the space needle piercing the clouds like a defiant finger. Isaiah called in sick to his agency, voice steady despite the tremor in his gut, and booked a train ticket to Portland. From there, a bus to Astoria, the edge of the world, where the Columbia River met the Pacific in a churn of secrets. He packed light, jeans, a hoodie, the letter. And in his wallet, a faded photo of Elias he'd salvaged from Clara's attic years ago, the man's smile frozen in time. The train rattled south, evergreens blurring past like strokes of green paint on a watercolor sky. Isaiah stared out the window, memories surfacing unbidden. Elias teaching him to fish off the docks in Tacoma, the sun warm on their backs, laughter bubbling up as lines tangled. "Patience, Ike," he'd say, ruffling Isaiah's hair. Ike. No one called him that anymore. Harlan had stamped it out, insisting on the full name like it carried more weight, more propriety. Portland's Union Station smelled of coffee and wet pavement, a brief layover where Isaiah grabbed a sandwich and avoided eye contact with fellow travelers. The bus to Astoria was half empty, locals dozing under hoodies, the driver narrating landmarks with a folksy drawl. As the landscape shifted from urban sprawl to coastal cliffs, Isaiah's phone vibrated, a call from Clara. He let it go to voicemail, her message playing soft. "Isaiah, honey, your cousin Marla mentioned you seemed off at the family brunch. Everything all right? Harlan sends his love." Love. The word twisted like a knife. He deleted it without replying. Astoria unfolded like a postcard from another era, Victorian houses clinging to hills, the river's mouth a vast, moody expanse. The attorney's office was a squat brick building on Commercial Street, sandwiched between a bookstore and a brewpub. Mr. Harlan, no relation, thank God, greeted him with a firm handshake and wire-rimmed glasses that magnified his sympathetic squint. "Mr. Washington, pleasure to meet you. Your father spoke of you often in our meetings." Isaiah's throat closed. "He knew about me?" Harlan nodded, leading him to a back room where a small metal box waited on a scarred oak table. "Elias was a private man, but you were his anchor. Said you had his eyes." The lock clicked open under Harlan's key, revealing stacks of letters tied with twine, a tarnished watch, and a leather-bound journal. On top, a note in spidery script, "For Ike. The truth I couldn't say aloud. Forgive me if you can. Love, Dad." Tears pricked Isaiah's eyes as he traced the words, the scent of aged paper stirring ghosts. Harlan cleared his throat. He passed from heart complications. Quietly, at home. No service, he didn't want fuss. Home. Where Elias had hidden for 30 years, rebuilding from ashes. Isaiah thanked the man, box tucked under his arm, and stepped into the salty air. The journal weighed heavy, promising revelations he wasn't sure he craved. He checked into a motel on the outskirts, the kind with neon signs flickering vacancy and rooms that smelled of salt and regret. Dinner was fish and chips from a harbor shack, eaten on a bench overlooking the water as gulls wheeled overhead. The journal lay unopened beside him, its cover soft as skin. Finally, under the dim glow of a street lamp, he cracked it open. The first entry was dated 1995, the year Elias vanished. "I can't pretend anymore. The boy's too young to understand, but Clara's eyes accuse me every night. Harlan's shadow looms, and the church whispers poison. Tonight, I pack a bag. Seattle first, then father. For Ike's sake, I'll be the dead man they need." Isaiah's breath hitched. Seattle. The bar in Pioneer Square, had it been a goodbye, or a beginning? Pages turned like confession spilled in the dark. Elias's journey, odd jobs in Portland, a lover named Theo, Tobias, met in a coffee shop, their nights tangled in stolen apartments until fear drove Tobias away. "He saw the wanted posters in my dreams," Elias wrote, "the family hunting me like a sinner." Isaiah paused, heart pounding. His own Theo, coincidence or cosmic joke? Deeper in, the entry softened. A job at a cannery in Astoria, saving pennies for a house on the hill. Letters never sent to Isaiah, tucked between pages. Son, you're 12 now, I'd know by the calendar. Wonder if you skip stones like I taught you. Be brave in ways I couldn't. Isaiah's fingers trembled, smudging ink. Elias had watched from afar. Anonymous check slipped into Clara's mailbox for birthdays, college tuition buried in scholarship funds. But then, the turn. 2010, met Julian today at the market. Artist, from Chicago. Eyes like storm clouds, laugh that chases shadows. Julian. The man who'd mended Elias's fractures, their love a quiet harbor against the world's tempests. Photos clipped inside, two men on a beach, arms linked, Elias grayer but lighter, Julian's hand possessive on his shoulder. Isaiah's stomach knotted, not jealousy, but envy. A life unlived, a love he'd chased in fragments through Seattle's bars and apps, always ending in Dawn's regret. The journal ended abruptly, mid-sentence. If you're reading this, Ike, no I. Isaiah slammed it shut, waves crashing below like applause for unfinished symphonies. He walked the shore until midnight, salt spray stinging his face, question swirling. Why now? Why reveal after death? And what of the family, Clara, Harlan, the aunts who'd mourned a fiction? Dawn crept in, painting the sky bruised purple, and Isaiah knew the truth wasn't in these pages. It was in the living echoes, the man who'd loved despite the cost. Isaiah woke to the motel's thin curtains filtering grey light, the journal a lump under his pillow like a talisman against nightmares. Dreams had come anyway, Elias's face morphing into Harlan's, sermons thundering about abominations while Julian's laugh echoed faint. He showered hot and quick, the water pounding like the questions in his skull. Breakfast was black coffee from a thermos in the motel's lobby, paired with a call he couldn't dodge forever. Clara. Isaiah? You didn't call back yesterday. Her voice was soft, laced with that southern lilt she'd never lost from her Georgia roots, now softened by Tacoma's drizzle. He leaned against the chipped formica counter, watching a fisherman unload crab pots across the street. Ma, I got a letter. About Dad. Silence stretched, broken only by her sharp intake. What letter? Isaiah, you know he's dead? Yeah, the family made sure of that. The word slipped out sharper than intended, honed on years of resentment. He heard her shift, probably in the kitchen where sunlight slanted through gingham curtains, Harlan's Bible open on the table. Honey, it was for the best. The scandal, your father chose his path. We protected you. Protected. The word curdled in his mouth. By lying? By burning his pictures like he was cursed. Isaiah's voice rose, drawing a glance from the motel clerk. He lowered it, gripping the phone. He left me a box, Ma. Journals. He watched me my whole life. Another pause, longer this time, heavy with the weight of omissions. I knew about the money. Thought it was guilt. Isaiah, please, come home. We can talk, pray on it. Pray. He laughed, bitter as the coffee. I'm in Astoria. Where he lived. With Julian. The name hung like smoke. Clara whispered it back, as if tasting ash. Who? His partner. For years. Isaiah paced to the window, fog rolling in off the river. They had a life, Ma. One you all killed before it started. Don't, she pleaded, voice cracking. Harlan's here. He hears this? Let him. Isaiah ended the call, heart hammering. For the first time, the noose felt looser, even if it dragged thorns. He drove a rented Ford pickup along the coastal highway, the journal riding shotgun, its secrets whispering with the radio's static indie folk. Astoria's hills gave way to rugged bluffs, the Pacific a restless beast below. Elias's house, per the attorney's directions, was a weathered craftsman on a street called Alderbrook Lane, perched like a sentinel over the bay. Ivy clung to the siding, windows shuttered against the wind. A for sale sign stabbed the lawn, realtor's info flapping. Isaiah parked, engine ticking cool, and approached the porch steps creaking under his weight. The air smelled of pine and brine, evoking summers long gone. He tried the door, locked, but a spare key hid under a flower pot, just as Harlan the lawyer had noted. Inside, the house breathed quiet, dust motes dancing in slivers of light, furniture draped in sheets like shrouded memories. He wandered room by room, ghosts in every corner. The living room held shelves of books, Steinbeck, Baldwin, worn paperbacks on civil rights and hidden loves. A photo on the mantel, Elias and Julian on their porch swing, younger, arms entwined, smiles unguarded. Julian had sharp features, olive skin, dark hair tousled by sea breeze, Chicago Italian, maybe, with eyes that pierced even in stillness. Isaiah touched the frame, thumb smudging glass. What had it felt like, that belonging? To wake beside someone who saw your scars and stayed? The kitchen yielded more, recipe cards in Elias's hand, notes for gumbo and cobbler, Julian scrawl adding more garlic, always. A calendar on the fridge marked hikes and gallery openings, their lives intertwined like vines. Upstairs, the master bedroom overlooked the water, bed made with military precision. In the nightstand, a stack of letters, this time, from Isaiah's childhood, forwarded anonymously. One, postmarked his high school graduation, proud of you, son. Saw your art show flyer in the paper. Shine on. Tears blurred the ink. Elias had been there, a shadow guardian. But why the silence? Fear, the journal hinted, fear of dragging Isaiah into the family's wrath, of Harlan's influence turning love to leverage. Isaiah sank onto the bed, the mattress sighing under him, and let sobs come, raw and unfiltered. 30 years stolen, rebuilt in solitude. A knock downstairs jolted him upright. He wiped his face, descending warily. Through the screen door stood a man in his late 50s, salt and pepper hair, wearing a fisherman's knit sweater and holding a casserole dish. You must be Isaiah. I'm Victor, neighbor. Heard about Elias, thought you might need feeding. Isaiah blinked, caught off guard. Victor's face was weathered, kind eyes crinkling. How'd you? Small town. And you look just like him. Victor stepped in when invited, setting the dish on the counter, lasagna, bubbling cheese. Over slices at the scarred pine table, stories flowed. Victor, a retired teacher, had met Elias at the local LGBTQ center, back when it was a hole-in-the-wall with folding chairs. He and Julian volunteered, ran support groups. Quiet types, but they lit up talking about you, Isaiah. Elias had your drawings framed in his office. Drawings. Isaiah's fork paused mid-air. From when you were a kid. Sent them through a P.O. box, no return address. He cherished them. Victor's voice softened. Julian's in Chicago now, packing up. Comes back next week for the estate. Tough man, but Elias was his world. Isaiah nodded, throat tight. I want to meet him. You will. He's flying in Tuesday. Victor clapped his shoulder, a paternal gesture that stung sweet. Stay as long as you need. Key's yours. Alone again, Isaiah explored the attic, a treasure trove of relics, Elias's old tackle box, Julian's sketchpads filled with charcoal portraits, Elias laughing, sleeping, fierce in passion. One page caught him, the study of a young man skipping stones, labeled Ike, imagined at 30. Isaiah's breath caught. Seen, even in absence. That night, rain lashed the roof, a symphony for revelations. He called Theo, voice hoarse. I'm in Dad's house. It's real. Theo's whoop crackled through the line. Dude, that's huge. Tell me everything. As words tumbled, journals, photos, Victor's lasagna, Isaiah felt the weight lift, inch by inch. But dawn brought Clara's text, Harlan wants to know if you're coming to Thanksgiving. Family misses you. Family. The word mocked him now. He replied, need time. Love you. Then, steeling himself, he searched for Julian Moretti, Chicago artist. A gallery site popped up, Abstract Oils of Turbulent Seas, bio noting a partner lost to illness. Isaiah bookmarked it, heart a drumbeat. Tuesday arrived with a chill wind off the water. Isaiah waited on the porch, coffee steaming in his hands, nerves jangling like loose change. A cab pulled up, disgorging a man in his early 60s, lean and poised, carrying a duffel and a portfolio case. Julian's hair was silver now, threaded with black, face etched by grief's fine lines. He paused at the gate, eyes locking on Isaiah's. "Elias's boy," Julian said, voice rough as gravel. "Not a question." Isaiah stood, extending a hand that Julian ignored for a hug, fierce, enveloping, smelling of airport coffee and oil paint. "You have his stance," Julian murmured, pulling back to study him. "And that damn stubborn chin." Inside, over tea in the living room, barriers crumbled. Julian spoke of their meeting, a rainy market day in 2010, Elias buying tomatoes, Julian critiquing the vendor's display. He laughed, first real laugh I'd heard in months, working that cannery grind. "We talked art, life." He never mentioned the family at first, just you. Isaiah leaned forward. "Why'd he stay away?" Julian's gaze drifted to the photo. "Shame's a hell of a chain. Yours, his mother's, the church's. He wrote you letters, burned half in fits of doubt. But he loved fierce, Isaiah. Fought for us when Astoria's old guard grumbled. We married in 2015, quiet ceremony on the beach. Vows under the aurora, thought it was a sign. Married." The word settled warm in Isaiah's chest. "Show me." Julian pulled a small album from his bag, pages whispering open to snapshots, cake smeared on cheeks, rings glinting in candlelight. "Elias, radiant." "He wanted you there," Julian said softly. "But the risk, Harlan's reach, the whispers. We protected our peace." Peace. Isaiah traced a photo, envy twisting into understanding. "I'm gay too. Came out years ago. Ma accepted, sort of." Julian's smile was wry. "Runs in the blood. Elias said you'd know yourself young." They sat in companionable silence, rain pattering, until Julian glanced at the clock. "Estate stuff tomorrow. Realtor, paperwork. Join us." Isaiah nodded, a bridge forming. That evening, they walked the harbor, Julian sharing stories of Elias's quirks, his off-key singing to Motown records, midnight dances in the kitchen. Laughter came easier, thawing the ice in Isaiah's veins. But as they parted at the door, Julian's hand on his arm, "He left you the house, you know. If you want it." The offer hung, a key to more than bricks. Isaiah lay awake, possibility swirling. Seattle's pull, career, Theo, the life he'd built, clashed with this coastal whisper. And the family? Clara's texts piled up, Harlan's shadow looming in voicemails. "Son, rumors of Elias's friend. Come home before you stir mud." Stir mud. Isaiah's resolve hardened. Mud was truth, long submerged. The realtor's office smelled of stale donuts and printer ink, a fluorescent-lit purgatory on Astoria's main drag. Isaiah sat beside Julian, legs jittering under the table as Brenda, the agent, a peroxide blonde with a real estate smile, flipped through listings. "Elias's place is a gem," she chirped, "views to die for. But market's hot, offers already." Julian's jaw tightened, fingers drumming the portfolio. "We're not rushing." Isaiah hears considering. Brenda's eyes flicked to him, appraising. "Family tie? Charming. Renovate the kitchen, add a deck, could fetch mid-sixes." Isaiah tuned her out, mind replaying the morning's walk with Julian, stories of Elias's cannery days, hands scarred from filleting salmon, evenings spent sketching Julian's profiles by lamplight. He saw beauty in the broken, Julian had said, kicking a pebble into the surf. "Like me, fresh from a nasty divorce, kids estranged." Isaiah had nodded, glimpsing parallels, his own fractured flings, the ex who bailed when family drama surfaced. Back at the house, paperwork loomed, deeds, taxes, the detritus of death. Julian spread documents across the dining table, glasses perched on his nose. Elias was meticulous. Planned for this. He slid a folder Isaiah's way. Your inheritance includes shares in his art fund, sold some pieces quietly over years. Isaiah opened it, numbers blurring, enough for a down payment, a fresh start. He invested in me. Always. Julian's voice caught. Said you had talent, like your sketches he framed. He paused, then, there's a letter for you. Sealed. Isaiah's pulse quickened. The envelope was thick, Elias's script bold, Ike, open when ready. He retreated to the porch, wind whipping hair, and slit it open. Pages unfurled, dated last year. Son, if Julian's reading this with you, know I went easy, pain meds, his hand in mine. Regrets? Only one, not bridging the gap sooner. Your ma are Clara's good people, trapped in Harlan's web. He came after me once, post-disappearance, hired a PI. Found me in Portland, threatened exposure unless I stayed gone. For your sake, I did. But watch your back, he's got claws. Isaiah's blood chilled. Harlan, the deacon with the avuncular smile, playing enforcer? The letter continued, love's not sin, Ike. It's salvation. I found it with Julian, lost it young chasing what society allowed. You're braver, own it. The house? Yours if it calls. Or sell, chase dreams. Just live loud. Dad. Tears splashed the page, ink bleeding. Live loud. Isaiah had whispered it to himself in Seattle nights, scrolling profiles, seeking connection amid the city's indifferent pulse. His longest had been with Marcus, a tech guy from Ballard, 6 months of brunches and bed, until Marcus's family visited, Bible in tow, and the silences grew. I can't fight their tide, Marcus had said, packing. Isaiah understood, but it scarred. He found Julian in the studio, a converted garage smelling of turpentine and canvas. Easels held half-finished seascapes, Elias's influence in the stormy blues. Read it? Julian asked, not turning from mixing paints. Yeah. Isaiah leaned in the doorway. Harlan. He hunted Dad. Julian nodded grimly. Elias mentioned. Kept it from me at first, didn't want poison in our haven. He dipped a brush, stroking a wave's crest. Harlan cornered him in a bar once, post coming out. Stay away or I'll ruin the boy. Elias bolted west, started over. Ruin. The word echoed Isaiah's fears, coming out at 22, Harlan's prayers that turned to lectures on conversion camps. Clara had buffered, but the damage lingered, a whisper of unworthiness in every hookup. I need to confront them, Isaiah said, voice steady. Julian turned, eyes searching. You do. But not alone. He set the brush down, pulling Isaiah into a side hug, warm, steady. Elias would say, truth's a storm, but it clears the air. That afternoon, Isaiah drove to the local library, a Carnegie relic with creaky stacks. He pored over microfilm, Tacoma News-Tribune, 1995. There a blurb, buried in society pages. Deacon Harlan Reeves weds Clara Washington, widow. No mention of Elias, just tragic loss. Digging deeper, a police blotter, missing person report, Elias Washington, filed by wife. Suspected voluntary departure. Voluntary. As if vanishing was a choice, not exile. His phone buzzed, Theo, video call. Spill, man. You ghosted after the house bombshell. Isaiah propped the phone against a book, whispering updates, letters, Julian, Harlan's shadow. Theo's eyes widened, his Capitol Hill apartment a colorful blur behind, string lights, poetry chapbook stacked. That's some Lifetime movie shit. But real. You okay? Honest? Terrified. Isaiah rubbed his jaw. What if confronting them breaks Ma? Theo leaned in, earnest. Or freeze her. You're not 5 anymore, Ike. Claim your story. Ike. The nickname landed soft, Elias's echo. Thanks. Miss you. Miss your ass. Come back soon, or send pics of hot fishermen. Theo winked, easing the knot in Isaiah's chest. Evening brought Victor and a potluck crew from the center, retirees, young couples, a trans barista named Riley with neon hair. They gathered in the backyard, fire pit crackling against the chill, stories weaving like smoke. Riley shared coming out in Astoria's conservative pockets. Victor toasted Elias's quiet activism, fundraising for the center's expansion. Julian watched Isaiah across the flames, a nod of approval. Later, alone with a beer on the dock, Isaiah scrolled old photos, Clara's smile at his college graduation, Harlan's hand heavy on his shoulder. Betrayal simmered, but so did pity. Clara, complicit yet captive. He texted her, Ma, need to talk. About Dad. In person. Her reply, Harlan's away Thursday. Come then. Thursday dawned crisp, leaves skittering like secrets. Isaiah hugged Julian goodbye. A call if it floods, and hit the road north, the coastal highway a ribbon of resolve. Tacoma unfolded familiar, strip malls, ferry horns, the church steeple piercing low clouds. Clara's bungalow on South 19th looked smaller, roses wilted along the walk. She met him at the door, apron dusted with flour, eyes red-rimmed. Isaiah. The hug was fierce, her frame bird fragile against his. Inside, the kitchen hummed with pie baking, Bible open to Proverbs. They sat at the formica table, steam rising from mugs. Tell me, she said, voice small. Isaiah laid it out, the box, journals, Julian. Harlan's threats. Her face paled with each word, hands twisting a napkin. I didn't know about the PI. Harlan said. Elias left for the city, chasing demons. Said it'd shame you. Shame me? Isaiah's voice rose. By being himself? Ma, he loved a man. I love men. It's not demons, it's us. Tears spilled. I know, baby. Tried to shield you. After he left, Harlan proposed stability for you. The church, the family. They declared him dead to move on. I let them. Let them. The complicity stung, but her eyes held regret's depth. And now? Now, I claim him. All of him. Isaiah slid the photo across, Elias and Julian, happy. Clara touched it, fingers trembling. He looks peaceful. A sob escaped. Forgive me. Not yet. Honesty burned, but he covered her hand. But I'm trying. They talked till dusk, childhood tales, Elias's hidden gifts, Isaiah's Seattle life. Pie cooled uneaten, a truce forming. As he left, Clara pressed a Tupperware into his hands. Tell Julian. Welcome to the family. The drive back was lighter, stars pricking the sky. But Isaiah's phone lit with Harlan's number, voicemail, heard you're digging graves, boy. Church elders know. Come Sunday, confess. Confess. Rage flared, hot and clarifying. Back in Astoria, Julian waited with wine and takeout. How'd it go? Raw. But real. Isaiah clinked glasses. Ma's cracking open. Harlan's not. Julian's smile was knowing. Storms brew. Ready. As they talked late, firelight dancing, Isaiah felt a shift, not just grief's lift, but possibilities pull. Julian's laugh, deep and resonant, stirred something, admiration, yes, but a warmth he'd name later. For now, it was enough, two men, bound by loss, forging forward. Yet midnight brought a knock, Riley, breathless. Centers vandalized. Harlan's name on the wall. The storm had broken. The community center's parking lot glittered with broken glass under floodlights, police tape fluttering like yellow ribbons in the wind. Isaiah arrived with Julian, the night air sharp with spray paint's chemical bite. Riley paced, arms crossed over a hoodie emblazoned with the center's rainbow logo, now defaced with slurs scrawled in dripping red, "Sinners burn" and, starkest, "Harlan knows." Cops milled, notebooks out, Victor comforting a cluster of shaken volunteers. Julian's face hardened as he surveyed the damage, shattered windows, doors kicked in, literature scattered like confetti from hell. "Bastards," he muttered, pulling out his phone to snap evidence. Isaiah's stomach churned, Harlan's voicemail replaying, "Confess." This wasn't coincidence, it was crusade. "He did this," he said to Riley, voice low. "My stepfather." Riley's eyes flashed. "The deacon?" "Shit, Isaiah. We heard rumors, Tacoma Holy Roller stirring Astoria's bigots." Word spread quick in tight-knit circles. By dawn, as cleanup crews swept shards and boarded windows, the local paper's site buzzed, "Vandalism at LGBTQ Center, suspected hate crime." Isaiah's phone exploded, Theo's texts, Clara's panicked call, Harlan's furious. "Says you're lying," dragging his name. "Where are you?" "In Hell's waiting room," Isaiah replied, voice edged. He met her at a neutral spot, a park in Longview, halfway, picnic table scarred by initials. Clara arrived disheveled, hair escaping its bun, Harlan's truck absent. "He denies it," she started, clutching a thermos of tea. "Says the elders are praying for you, lost lamb." Isaiah laughed, hollow. "Lost? Ma, he's terrorizing people. Because of me digging up Dad." Her eyes darted, guilt-etching lines. He knows about the house. Saw the deed transfer online, public record. Went nuclear. Our boy's bewitched by that sodomite's ghost." Sodomite. The word landed like a slap, archaic venom from a man who'd shaped Isaiah's youth. "And you?" Still his echo? Clara flinched, pouring tea with shaking hands. "No. Last night, I packed his bags. Told him to stay at the church till he cools." She met Isaiah's gaze, fierce for the first time. "You're my son. Elias's son. I won't lose you to lies again." The admission cracked something in him, relief, raw and flooding. They hugged across the table, her sobs muffled in his shoulder. "Come with me," he urged. "See the center, meet Julian." She hesitated, then nodded. "Tomorrow." "But Harlan, he won't stop." He didn't. That evening, as Isaiah helped repaint the center's sign, a pickup roared past, Tacoma plates, Harlan's face a blur of rage behind the wheel. Threats escalated, anonymous calls to Julian's gallery in Chicago, emails to the realtor slandering the sale. Isaiah's freelance inbox filled with hate, abomination spawn, traced to church IPs. Crisis peaked Sunday. Isaiah drove to First Grace Baptist, uninvited, the sanctuary swelling with hymnals and suspicion. Harlan spotted him in the vestibule, pulpit in view, face purpling. "Out," he hissed, gripping Isaiah's arm like a vice. "Not till you hear this." Isaiah shook free, voice carrying. Heads turned, the deacons, aunts, cousins frozen mid-prayer. Clara slipped in late, eyes pleading from a pew. Harlan mounted the stairs, mic in hand, sermon twisting scripture into knots. "Today, we confront the wolf in sheeps." Isaiah stepped forward, heart thunderous. "The wolf's you, Harlan. Hiding behind verses while you hunted my father, vandalized a center for people like him." "Like me?" Gasps rippled. Harlan's face mottled. "Lies. This boy's deceived by truth." Isaiah pulled the letter from his pocket, Elias's words projected via phone to a borrowed screen, deacon's threats, exile's pain. The congregation murmured, fractures showing, a young woman nodding, an elder shifting uneasy. Clara stood, voice quavering but clear. "Enough, Harlan. You drove Elias away, lied to our boy. No more. Chaos erupted, shouts, Harlan pounding the pulpit, deacons ushering him out. Isaiah fled to the parking lot, rain starting, Clara chasing. You did it, she gasped, pulling him close. Broke the chain. But victory soured quick. Harlan's truck idled at the curb, engine growling. You'll regret this, he snarled through the window, peeling out. Isaiah's phone buzzed. Theo, cops at your Seattle apartment. Harlan tipped IRS on your gigs. Audit incoming. Betrayal's blade twisted. Harlan wasn't just raging, he was dismantling. Isaiah drove south blind, pulling over on I-5 to vomit roadside, crisis crashing. Julian's call steadied him, come home. We've got lawyers, friends. You're not alone. Home. Astoria called, Seattle a minefield. He detoured west, crashing at Theo's, couch surf, beer therapy. Theo held him that night, platonic but profound, as sobs racked. You're unraveling the myth, man. It hurts, but it's birth. Days blurred, evading process servers, consulting a pro bono attorney on defamation suits. Clara emailed support, proud. Staying at Sisters. Love you both. Harlan went silent, radio static, but the damage lingered, cancelled clients, whispers in freelance circles. Rock bottom hit in a Seattle bar, dive off Broadway, neon buzzing open. Isaiah nursed whiskey, app notifications mocking, matches swiping left on his bio's hint of drama. A man approached, broad-shouldered, ginger beard, eyes kind. Buy you another? Look like you need it. Need a time machine, Isaiah muttered. The man, Finn, a paramedic from Fremont, laughed soft. Try talking. Work sometimes. They talked till closing, Finn's out and proud life, family barbecues with rainbow flags. Isaiah spilled fragments, Elias, Harlan, the center's ruins. Finn listened, hand brushing his on the sticky bar. Sounds like you're fighting for ghosts. What about the living, you? The question pierced. Isaiah leaned in, lips meeting Finn's tentative, then urgent, a spark in the void. They tumbled to Finn's truck, backseat tangle of limbs and heat, release fierce and fleeting. Dawn found them awkward, coffee in hand. That was. Finn trailed. Needed, Isaiah finished. But I'm a mess. Finn nodded, no pressure. Messes mend. Call if you want round 2, or just coffee. Isaiah left with a number scrawled on a napkin, heart lighter but adrift. Back in Astoria, Julian waited with news, center reopening fundraiser, Harlan's church facing boycott. You're doing, Julian said, hugging him tight. But intimacy brewed subtle, shared glances over dinner, Julian's hand lingering on Isaiah's shoulder. Admiration deepened to desire, unspoken yet electric. One night, wine loosened, Julian confessed, Elias saw it in you, a fire. Reminds me of him, but... You. Isaiah's breath caught, pulling Julian close. Their kiss was slow, exploratory, grease edge softening to tenderness. Not replacement, but resonance, two souls scarred, seeking solace. They made love in the master bed, bodies mapping loss to longing, whispers of Elias blessing the union. Yet crisis lingered. Harlan's final strike, a letter to the Astoria paper, anonymous, accusing the center of recruiting youth, veiled at Isaiah. Backlash swelled, protests at the fundraiser. Isaiah stood front, MIC in hand, hate hides in pulpits. Love builds here. Join us. Crowd swelled, Clara arriving with pies, Theo flying in, Finn texting support. But as cheers peaked, Isaiah's eyes met a shadow in the back, Harlan, uninvited, face thunderous. The confrontation loomed, betrayals crescendo. The fundraiser pulsed with makeshift energy, string lights strung across the center's patched lot, tables groaning under donated chowder and artisan breads. Isaiah manned the donation booth, clipboard in hand, Finn's napkin number burning in his pocket like a talisman. Julian circulated, charming donors with tales of Elias's legacy fund, his laugher boy in the crowd swell. Clara hovered near the dessert spread, her pie drawing compliments, face alight with tentative belonging. First time in a rainbow space, she confessed earlier, whispering, "Feels like coming home." Theo arrived mid-afternoon, hugging Isaiah fierce amid the throng. Seattle's abuzz, your story's viral on local forums. Harlan's toast. His eyes sparkled, scanning the scene. Hot dog friend? Spill. Isaiah grinned, first real one in days. Maybe. Later. But later came quick, Finn pulling up in his ambulance-rigged truck, off-shift, bearing crates of craft beer. Their hello was charged, handshake lingering, eyes locking with promise. Heard about the audit bullshit, Finn said low. Paramedics union's got a lawyer buddy. Pro bono. Gratitude swelled, Isaiah's hand brushing Finn's arm. You're solid. Finn's smile crinkled eyes. Solid's my brand. As sun dipped, speeches kicked off, Riley on resilience, Victor on history. Isaiah's turn loomed, nerves jangling, but Clara's nod from the front row steadied him. You're enough, she'd said that morning, over motel coffee. Then, the shadow, Harlan, slipping through the gate like smoke, suit crisp, Bible clutched like armor. Murmurs rippled, security, volunteer off-duty cops, tensed. Isaiah froze mid-sip of cider, pulse roaring. Julian appeared at his side, hand on elbow. Breathe. He's one man. Harlan mounted the makeshift stage unbidden, MIC feedback screeching. Good people, he boomed, voice honeyed venom, I've come to warn you. This den of iniquity preys on our youth, led by a prodigal son bewitched by his father's perversion. Eyes locked on Isaiah. Repent, boy, before you drag souls to damnation. Gasps, boos. Clara stood, face ashen. Harlan, stop this madness. He ignored her, jabbing a finger. Elias Washington was no victim, he chose filth. And you, Isaiah, echo it, slandering a man of God. Isaiah's vision tunneled, rage a red tide. He stormed the stage, snatching the MIC filth. You're the poison, Harlan, hunting dad, lying to my face, vandalizing this place. Voice cracked, but held. You declared him dead to bury your fear. But he's alive in us, in love that endures. Crowd erupted, cheers drowning Harlan's sputter. Security flanked him, escorting out as he snarled, you'll burn, all of you. But the spark ignited, donations poured, phones recording, social media aflame. Aftermath crashed post-event, cops hauling Harlan for trespass, assault charges pending from a shoved volunteer. Isaiah retreated to the house with Julian and Finn, Theo crashing on the couch. Wine flowed, exhaustion mingling with elation. Clara stayed, bunking in the guest room, her presence a quiet mending. Midnight found Isaiah and Finn on the porch, stars sharp overhead, waves murmuring below. That was epic, Finn said, knee brushing Isaiah's. Brave as hell. Reckless. Isaiah sighed, head on Finn's shoulder. What now? Lawsuits, fallout. Now. Finn tilted his chin up, lips meeting soft. The kiss deepened, hands roaming, exploration turning urgent, bodies aligning on the swing. They moved inside, shedding clothes in the hall, Finn's touch mapping Isaiah's scars with reverence. In bed, it was unhurried, profound, gasp syncing with the sea's rhythm, vulnerability bared. After tangled sheets, Finn whispered, stay? Astoria suits you. Isaiah traced his chest. Thinking on it. Dawn brought crisis's echo, Clara in the kitchen, Harlan's arrest on the radio, hate crime charges, church schism brewing. She wept, not for him, but release. I chose wrong once. Not again. Over breakfast, Theo nursing hangover eggs, plans formed, her divorce filing, support for the center. But betrayal's scar festered. Isaiah drove to Tacoma alone, confronting the church elders in Harlan's empty office, files rifled, proving the PI hires, anonymous tips. He weaponized faith, Isaiah said, voice steel. We're pressing charges. All of it. Elders squirmed, one, a grey-haired aunt by marriage, apologizing tearful. We were blind. Blindness. Isaiah left with copies, a weight lifted, but hollow. Back west, romance bloomed tentative with Finn, hikes along the cliffs, hands clasped, dinners where Theo teased, Julian shared paints. Isaiah sketched Finn's profile, lines fluid, capturing the quiet strength. Yet doubt nipped, was it rebound, or root? Julian noticed, over a porch beer. He's good for you. Like Elias was for me, he's steady in storms. Isaiah nodded, but crisis lingered internal. A nightmare woke him, Harlan's hands around Elias's throat, morphing to his own. He slipped out, driving to the beach at 3 a.m., waves pounding turmoil. Finn found him at dawn, blanket-wrapped. Talk. I love him, Dad. But reclaiming means losing the boy I was. Tears hot. Harlan stole that. Finn held him, solid. Then grieve the boy. Love the man. Grief's floodgates opened, sobs racking as surf roared. Finn's arms anchored, their bond deepening in vulnerability's forge. Weeks blurred, court dates, media spots, Isaiah's face in Portland papers, sun stand against Deacon's hate. Freelance surged, designs for the center's mural. Clara visited often, unpacking boxes of Elias's relics, letters, a pocket watch ticking time reclaimed. Crisis crested at sentencing, Harlan, shackled, eyes dead fish in court. Judge's gavel fell, jail time, restitution, deaconcy revoked. Isaiah testified, voice unwavering, you broke a family. We're rebuilding without you. Clara squeezed his hand post-verdict, whispering, healing starts. But emotional quake hit Private Julian, packing for Chicago, pulled Isaiah aside. The house, yours fully now. But I'm heading back. Gallery needs me. Isaiah's gut twisted. Us? Julian's smile sad. Elias's echo in you. It's beautiful. But I'm not him. Find your C, kid. Hug fierce, then gone, plane west to east, leaving space. Loneliness crashed, but Finn filled it gentle, nights of takeout and talks, mornings tangled. Theo visited, sensing the shift. Julian's gift was bridge. Finn's the shore. Isaiah proposed to Finn over cliffside picnic, move in? Build here. Finn's yes was kiss sealed, future sketched in sand. Yet final crisis loomed, Clara's health scare, stress-induced collapse, hospital into coma. Isaiah raced north, Finn driving, Theo praying via text. Bedside, monitors beeping, Clara gripped his hand. Wrote you something. Envelope, her script, to my sons, Elias, Isaiah. I was blind, but now I see. Forgive. Tears mingled. Always, Ma. She rallied, discharge with promises, therapy, visits. Back in Astoria, Isaiah scattered Elias's ashes, journal's wish, on the beach at sunset, Julian video calling from Chicago. To ripples, he toasted, screen glow warm. Healing's arc bent, but shadows lingered, therapy unpacking Harlan's ghosts, Finn's patience a balm. Romance flowered, first I love you a whispered post-storm, bodies and hearts entwined. Crisis ebbed, but growth's pain sharpened resolve. Isaiah's designs went viral, mural of intertwined hands, waves crashing free. Life, loud at last. Autumn painted Astoria's hills in fire, maples blazing against evergreens, leaves crunching under Isaiah's boots as he walked the beach with Finn, their dog, a rescue mutt named Ripple, chasing gulls. 6 months post-sentencing, the center thrived, new wing funded by Isaiah's mural commissions, Clara volunteering weekends, her laugh mingling with kids in art classes. Harlan faded to footnotes, parole denied, church splintered into progressive folds. Yet Isaiah's dream still jerked him awake, Elias's voice murmuring unfinished letters, Harlan's shadow clawing at edges. Finn sensed it, always, his paramedic's radar for fractures. That morning, over coffee on the porch, he broached, therapy stirring shit, huh? Talk. Isaiah traced the mug's rim, wave sighing below. Yeah. Yesterday, Doc had me letter write, to Dad, unsent stuff. He paused, throat tight. Poured out the anger, at Ma for silence, Harlan for the hunt, myself for believing the ghost story. Finn's hand covered his, steady. And? Healed a crack. But. Feels fragile. Like one wave wipes it. Isaiah met his eyes, green and unwavering. You keep me moored. Finn leaned in, kiss soft. Mutual, babe. Now, hike? Clear the cobwebs. The trail wound up Young's River, ferns brushing legs, ripple bounding ahead. They talked easy, Finn's shift tales of saved lives, Isaiah's latest gig designing for a Seattle queer film fest. Laughter came freer now, but mid-climb, Isaiah halted, breath short. Remember the fundraiser? Thought that was peak chaos. Finn chuckled. Now. Peaks us, adopting this furball last month. Ripple yipped agreement, tail wagging. Home yielded messages, Theo's excited, flying in for the fest premiere. Bringing date, poet hotter than my lattes. Clara's gentle, picked up Elias's watch from repair. Ticking strong. Dinner soon? Julian's rare, gallery shows a hit, your influence. Miss the coast. Coffee in Chicago? Isaiah smiled, warmth spreading. Julian's departure had ached, a mentor's loss, tinged romantic, but distance clarified, affection, not anchor. Their emails flowed sporadic, art critiques and life updates, Elias's bridge enduring. Crisis crept subtle, emotional undercurrent. At therapy that week, Doc probed, forgiveness for Harlan. Isaiah shifted. Pity, mostly. Rotting in regret. But night brought vulnerabilities quake, dinner with Finn turning tense when Isaiah snapped over burnt toast, old abandonment flaring. Sorry, he gasped, retreating to the studio. Finn followed, arms encircling from behind as Isaiah stared at a blank canvas. Hey! It's okay to crack. Divorce left me jagged. Isaiah turned, confession spilling, scared I'll bolt, like Dad. Or drive you away, like Harlan did everyone. Finn's gaze held. You won't. We're not them. They made love then, slow and affirming, bodies affirming trust, whispers chasing doubts. The film fest in Seattle pulled Isaiah cityward, Finn tagging for moral support. Capitol Hill buzzed electric, rain-slick streets, bars spilling laughter. Premiere night, Isaiah's poster art splashed lobby-wide, abstract waved cradling figures in embrace. Theo preened beside his date, a lanky wordsmith named Kai, while Clara beamed from the front row, arm-linked with a new friend from her book club, widower, gentle. Post-screening Q&A, director gushed, Isaiah captured the soul, hidden loves, reclaimed truths. Applause thundered, Isaiah's chest swelling. But lobby mingle soured, a producer, slurring, cornered him. Heard about your family drama. Edgy backstory, picture memoir. Isaiah stiffened, Finn's hand on his back. Not a gimmick. Real. Producer shrugged. Everything sellable pain. Outside, rain sheeting, Isaiah vented to Finn, monetize my scars. Fuck that. Finn pulled him under awning. Then don't. Your art speaks louder. Theo's after-party at his apartment devolved into poetry slams and shots, Kai reciting verses that twisted Isaiah's gut tender. Late, buzzed, he and Finn stumbled to a nearby motel, city escape, sheet starched. Love-making urgent, city hum filtering, Finn's breath hot, you're mine, chaos and all. Morning arters brought clarity, Isaiah declining the memoir push, focusing on center expansions. Back home, Clara's dinner unfolded warm, gumbo simmering, Elias's watch on the table, ticking. She shared her own therapy breakthroughs, confronted Harlan in prison mail. Told him, your God loves wider than your hate. No reply, but I slept sound. Isaiah hugged her tight. Proud, Ma. Crisis peaked unexpected, a letter from Harlan, forwarded via lawyer. Yellowed envelope, script shaky, Isaiah, rot teaches. I was blind, Abraham's zealot. Forgive? Pray for me. Isaiah read aloud to Finn, voice hollow. Pities progress, Finn said. Burn it? No. Isaiah folded it. Archive. Part of the map. Healing deepened, joint therapy with Clara, unpacking the declaration of death, her guilt, his grief. Sessions ended in tears, then tea, bonds reforged. Finn proposed casually over breakfast, marry me? Beach, small, ripple as ring bearer. Isaiah's yes dissolved in laughter kisses, planning sketches forming. But emotional underbelly stirred, a solo trip to Tacoma's old docks, stones skipping under his hand, ripples widening. There, vision, Elias beside him, translucent, smiling. Loud, son. Awake, Isaiah wept, release cathartic. Fest commissions led to a gallery show in Portland, Isaiah's first solo, themes of exile and embrace. Opening night, Julian flew in, hug bearish. Stunning. Elias would frame the whole wall. Finn mingled proud, Clara toasting with elderflower spritz. Theo and Kai performed a spoken word piece inspired by Isaiah's journey, verses on buried fathers, unearthed loves. Crowd wept, applauded. Post-show, intimate dinner, family forged anew. Julian pulled Isaiah aside, seeing you settled. Heals me too. Their goodbye hug held no longing, just kinship. Crisis's final whisper, Harlan's death notice, heart attack in cell. Clara mourned brief, human, broken, then released. Isaiah scattered symbolic petals at sea, Finn's hand in his. Romance anchored, wedding dawn on the beach, waves lapping vows. In ripples and storms, Finn said, ring glinting. Isaiah echoed, heart full. Life flowed, mural expansions, a book not memoir but novel, fictionalized truths. Theo's wedding next, Kai's ring matching. Clara dated steady, how's bustling holidays. Healing's journey curved gentle, scars faded, not gone, but guides. Isaiah, at 36, stood taller, father's son, lover's partner, truth's bearer. Yet in quiet nights, journal open, he wrote, Dad, we're loud. Together. Winter cloaked Astoria in mist and magic, holidays twinkling along the river, ferries cutting fog like silver blades. Isaiah's wedding had been simplicity incarnate, bare feet in sand, Finn in linen shirt unbuttoned at the collar, vows exchanged under a driftwood arch as ripple yipped approval. Clara officiated, her voice steady with borrowed minister's license, eyes shining. Theo captured it all, photos candid, Kai's poem etched in the program, from declared dead to dancing free. Julian sent a painting from Chicago, intertwined silhouettes against stormy seas, titled Ripples Eternal. Now, 3 months on, the house thrummed with new rhythms. Isaiah's studio overflowed sketches, commissioned for a national queer youth network, lines bold with reclaimed fire. Finn shifts kept him grounded, tales of midnight saves traded over dinners of Julian's mailed recipes, gumbo spiced fierce. Clara visited bi-weekly, her Tacoma bungalow sold for a cozy Astoria cottage down the lane, Independence her quiet revolution, book club morphing to writing circle, stories of regret woven into fiction. One evening, snow flurrying rare and soft, Isaiah pored over Elias's journal by firelight, Finn dozing beside with a medical thriller splayed on chest. A passage caught, Julian dreams of galleries back east. If he goes, I'll follow, love's a tide, pulls true. Isaiah smiled, tracing words. Julian had gone, but returned summers, his Chicago loft a satellite to their coastal constellation. Last visit, over porch wine, he'd confessed, you mended what Elias left frayed. Grateful. Grateful. The word echoed Isaiah's own ledger, debts paid in confrontations forge. Harlan's death had closed no circle, but scattered ashes, Clara burning old sermons in her backyard, Isaiah donating PI files to advocacy groups, fueling reforms in hate crime laws. No eulogy, just release. Crisis, once tidal, now ebbed to ripples. Therapy tapered, but check-ins lingered, Doc praising the narrative shift from victim to visionary. Isaiah tested it, guest speaking at Seattle colleges, panels on family rejection, art as armor. Audiences leaned in, questions probing, how do you forgive? Not quick, he'd say. Like sketching shadows, acknowledge, then illuminate. Finn attended one, back row proud, their eyes meeting mid-tail, a nod, electric. Post-talk, in a campus cafe, he murmured, "You're luminous, you know." Luminous. Isaiah kissed him there, public and unapologetic, coffee steam curling witness. Spring unfurled green, Theo and Kai's wedding a riot in Portland, rooftop vows, poetry vows exchanged in haiku. Isaiah Besmond, toast weaving Elias's stones into Theo's loyalty, you skipped ripples with me when family seas raged. To endless waves. Tears flowed, hugs tight, as Kai whispered, your story inspired ours, buried no more. Back home, creation surged, Isaiah's novel, Tides of Truth, landed a small press deal, semi-autobiographical, Elias a composite captain navigating forbidden currents, sun charting home. Edits flew between him and agent, Finn reading drafts aloud, laughter punctuating heartbreak. Clara's first reading at her circle, a short on a widow's awakening, veiled Clara, audience hushed. Afterward, over pie, she admitted, Elias would have loved this, words over whispers. He does, Isaiah said, watch ticking on his wrist, Elias's, restrung with Finn's not charm. Summer solstice brought Julian's annual stay, gallery packed for a joint show, Isaiah's graphics beside Julian's oils, themes entwined, lost to legacy. Opening drew crowds, critics praising emotional depth, familial resonance. Julian clinked glasses post-closing, Elias's proud, kid. Feel it? Isaiah did, in the house's hum, Finn's hand in his at barbecues, Ripple's tail thumps. Victor hosted the solstice fire, neighbors circling with s'mores and songs, Riley belting folk tunes, center kids roasting marshmallows under stars. Intimacy deep and private, lazy Sundays in bed, Finn's fingers tracing Isaiah's spine, murmurs of futures, adopting a second dog, maybe kids via surrogacy, dreams sketched casual. Your call, Finn always said, no pressure, just partnership. Autumn harvest yielded Clara's engagement to widower Tom, a retired librarian with gentle humor and Civil War tomes. Wedding small, beachside echo of Isaiah's, him walking her arm in arm. Full circle, she whispered, veil fluttering. Isaiah's book launch coincided, Capitol Hill bookstore, shelves groaning fans. Theo emceed, Kai read excerpts, Finn stood sentinel, Clara beaming. Signings stretched hours, readers sharing kintails, your words freed my brother. Validation washed, tears pricked. Post-launch dinner, family expanded, Theo circle, Julian via video, Victor toasting. To truths uncovered, families reforged. Winter circled back, anniversary eve, Finn blindfolded Isaiah to the studio, unveiling a surprise, mural wall, collaborative, Finn's crude outlines filled by Isaiah's hand, scenes of their year, hikes, vows, quiet coffees. Our story, Finn said, removing the blindfold. Isaiah pulled him close, kiss deepening to bed, bodies familiar yet wondrous, love's evolution, tender and torrid. After, tangled, he whispered, Elias taught ripples. You taught waves. Finn chuckled. Together, ocean. Years layered gentle, book tours, center directorship for Isaiah, Finn's promotion to trainer. Clara's grandbaby via Tom's daughter, Isaiah uncle doting weekends. Julian retired coastward, cottage neighbor, joint exhibits annual. Reflections came reflective, journal entries Isaiah's now, for future kin, love declared, not dead. Live it loud. Therapy's gift, crises as chapters, not chains. One dawn, beach walk, stone skipping, 4, 5, endless. Finn beside, ripple chasing. Elias's voice, internal, well done, son. Isaiah smiled to horizon, hand in hand. Truth uncovered, life embraced, human, whole, wave upon wave.